How's things been going?
Not bad. Not bad. Keeping busy between Disney and shows.
Yeah, you're back doing the shows. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I tried to deny my past for a while, but I realized that I'm a showman. I'm an entertainer. So
I
uh,
noticed. I noticed that. I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed you tried to tell yourself you didn't want to do it, kind of.
yeah, I tried to run away from it.
I mean, even if you're doing it for fun, you know what I mean, and it's a little extra money on the side. I mean, even if you're not doing it like gung ho all the way out. I mean, if you are, that's great too. But I'm saying, even
Right.
if you're just doing it for a little side thing,
Right.
it's
Honey, do
in
me
your
a favor.
blood.
Huh?
I said it's in your blood to do something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna have my wife trying to turn this light on over here, and then if I shut this one off, it might change things. Let's see.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
way
better.
better. That's way
There we
better.
go. All
Yeah, it's
right.
usually better to have a light in front of you, not behind you.
Right.
Yeah,
Coming from television, I should have remembered that.
yeah. I had to learn that. I always put the light behind me, and I'm like, what the hell's the matter? I finally found out you got to have it in front of you. I'm learning too, man. I'm learning every day about this stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, same here with technology. It's just like even though I was in front of the camera all the time talking about wrestling, the behind the scenes stuff, I was all thumbs. I couldn't tell you what was going on.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. Now I'm just starting to get in front of the camera. I've always been behind the camera. I never
Right.
wanted to be in front of the camera at all. I never wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted everybody to film their stuff. I said, why don't you film it and send it to me? Film it. I learned how far you get with that stuff because nobody does
Yeah.
it.
Right.
It's hard enough trying to get somebody on to do this with me
Right.
doing it. It's hard enough to get somebody on. Never mind somebody filming it and just sending it to you. So
Right.
I had to get myself in front of the camera no matter how bad I didn't want to do it. I always
All
hid
good.
behind the camera.
Yeah. All good, man.
Well, it's good to finally get you on here. I've been trying to get you on here for something.
I know it's just it's with scheduling, but finally today I had a day off. I mean, I had to go do laundry, but other than that,
Yeah. Hopefully get you on here for some more stuff. Even if it ain't talking about yourself, if you don't want to talk about yourself, maybe we can do something else.
sure, sure.
I mean, I'd love to talk about you, but if you don't want to do that, we could do. I mean, I plan on doing all kinds of different things like watch alongs, maybe watch matches and talk about the matches,
Sure.
or maybe just tearing apart different things, watching different things. I just want to do different things and get people involved. And I just have so much footage and so much different stuff. You know how that is.
Absolutely.
And people are
I,
just eat. Go ahead.
yeah, I've become like the custodian of history for the IWF. I've got not as much as I'd like, but I do have a lot of Kowalski and a lot of Richard Burns shows that we did originally on VHS, and years ago I transferred them over to DVDs. So
No kidding.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's how it is with the local stuff I have. I didn't realize. I mean, this stuff's been in my closet for 20 years. I stopped pretty much watching wrestling. And now I'm pulling out. People are like, oh my God, you got this. My kid's never seen my matches and I don't have my own stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. This stuff's been sitting in my closet for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, I
yeah.
didn't know there was so much interest so that people appreciate it so much. So
Oh yeah.
I'm just doing it more for appreciation for people, and now I'm starting to get back into it, which I really didn't want. Now everybody's trying to drag me out to shows. I'm like, I don't want to go to shows. I will sit home and do this for my house and my comfort of my house, but I don't really want to be out and about back out there.
Right.
I don't mind
Me
doing it for my house.
me on the other hand, I'm dying to get out to an indie show down here in Florida. I'm just going to find out where they are.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot down there, I think.
There is. We got in Orlando alone, we got two organizations. We got the IWA, which is Puerto Rican Lucha Libre. And then we've got another one. I don't remember the name of the organization, but David Heath, Gangrel, is involved with them. So I'd like to get out and see some of their shows.
There you go. There must be somebody involved down there.
Well, I know the Samoans are in Mineola. Alpha has a
Is that
school out there.
WXW still?
Yep. He's got the
Okay.
school out there, and he does
That
shows.
used to be really good. I used to watch that.
Yeah, and Jay Lethal's still in Tampa, even though he's doing stuff for AEW now. So I mean,
Okay.
it's around. Just gonna find it.
Yeah. It's a hard. You know how the indie scene is. Once you get in
Absolutely.
there, boom, boom, it starts popping up. You start, hey, I'm working here Saturday. I'm working there Sunday. I'm working. Next thing you know, you once you get in the loop, you're in the loop. But when you're out of the loop, man, it's hard to get in there.
That's for sure.
You hear about all the shows once you start going to them, but if you're not in there, that's why I just started picking up local shows here. I think I just picked up like 5 promotions that said I can use their footage if I want to make videos or if I want to help promote their shows. Because I'm asking them, hey, you want me to help promote your shows? You want me to make some videos for you? Oh yeah, we'd love it.
Right.
So because I want to pick up some new stuff as well as old to have showing. I don't know if you've seen. I just did a couple new videos of new stuff.
Yeah.
That's going on now. Like, hey, this Saturday night, this is going on. I'm trying to do a little more of that too, not just old stuff.
No, that's awesome. You got a good mix going on there,
That's why I'm trying to get a little bit of everything of people talking, of old school crazy stuff, of some girls, of some, just everything, something for everybody.
Absolutely.
I'll put up some stuff and people are like, why are you putting this up? I'm like, hey, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. That's fine. It's for somebody else.
Exactly. And it's stuff that provides me watching material on my bus rides to and from work.
Oh, cool. You enjoy it? That's good. That's good.
Absolutely, man. I'm on a 35, 40-minute bus ride to and from work every day. And you've been providing me with entertainment on my bus rides.
Good. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep people busy and throw stuff up there. It's with me. I'm pulling stuff out and I'm like, oh, here's something. Let's mix it up and throw this in. Let's mix it up and throw that in. And at the same time, I'm trying to keep it in order. If you notice, like show.
Absolutely.
I'm not showing it every day, but like each week or two, I'll go, okay, here's the next episode to that. Okay, now you got to wait. Now in a week, I'll throw up the next episode to that. So I'm trying to keep it very mixed, but also in sync as to each week of stuff.
That's good. It's organized.
Yeah, so you can follow the storylines and stuff if you want to. And then if you go back, if you miss it, if you go into my playlist, I'm trying to keep all the stuff in playlists in order.
Right. And that's the way the territories were back in the day, as we know. It was like in the territory days, you were in a certain city every week, night of the week, like every Monday night. Lawler was in the Mid-South Coliseum, and then every Wednesday night he'd be down in Louisville, Kentucky, in the Gardens. So you had to keep the people coming back. You had to keep a coherent story going.
Right.
And you're right in that spirit, man.
Right. That's basically how my mindset works. So that's kind of what I'm doing. A lot of the younger people don't get it, and they're like, hey, put that next thing up. I'm waiting for that. It's like, yeah, that's what I want you to do. And I want you to wait. I'm not giving it all to you. I'm not putting it all up this week. I want you sitting there waiting for another week. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
A lot of the younger kids don't understand that mindset now. It's kind of funny.
Exactly. Nothing like old school, man.
Right. We got to get that mentality back, I think.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think a lot of what AEW is doing is picking up on that, keeping the old school mentality of the tune in next week to see what happens. WWE's kind of all over the place. I've really stopped watching them for like the last 2 years, but I love what AEW is doing, and I'm excited for the relaunch of ROH. I hope Tony Khan does it right.
I haven't watched WWE since like 2001. AEW I watch religiously, but I'm 50-50 on them. I agree with you 50%. The other 50, they're also throwing everything where I think they're going to burn themselves out within like the 5-year mark where they gave you everything. Like they're almost hot shotting so much where they're giving you like everything. Like where they're going to get the new star in another year or two? Who's going to be the surprise? Who's going to? All right, another chain match, another cage match, another blood match. Like you can't just keep doing that like they're doing. He can't keep doing what he's doing.
Right.
And he's made the fans so accustomed to the way he's doing it. They're going to be disappointed when it stops. Like,
absolutely.
Oh, where's our next surprise? Oh, you don't have a surprise for us? We haven't had a surprise in 2 months. Like. They're almost going to get stuck up, I think, where they're so accustomed to what they get. Oh boy, another cage match. I don't care. We've seen 10 of these in the last year. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to quench what you're giving them at a point, I think.
Absolutely. And that's where I really hope that, especially with the relaunch of ROH, I hope that this is going to be an opportunity to cultivate new talent, to build new stars, build for the future.
Yeah, I mean, he has them two dark shows for that, and I don't think he's capitalized on that as well as he could have.
Right.
I don't understand why he has two shows for that. He should have one. You know what I mean? Now he's opening a third, which don't make a lot of sense to me. I love ROH. I love the concept of ROH. I really hope, I wish he would give the book to somebody else on ROH. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And kind of overlook it, which I know he's not going to do that. And I
Right.
wish
And
he would
probably
keep it separate, like put the separate guys there, put the Briscoes over there, put, you know, FTR over there, like put them guys over there and let them come over here and there, let it mix here and there, you know, a supercard and stuff like that. But don't I don't know. Or make it a total minor. But you kind of have your minor leagues with the docs already, you know what I mean?
right.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what he does with it.
I think the perfect person to give the book to for ROH would be William Regal. I think he'd be the perfect guy.
Sure. Or
You know?
yeah, let Punk have a hand in it.
Oh, sure.
I love the way Punk's been booking his feud. You know, he's booking that whole thing.
Absolutely.
You know, he's done everything to do with that, and that's been great. See, that's what it is with me with AEW. It's too much of a mishmash of. I love everything Danielson's done. I love everything Punk's done. I can't stand the Young Bucks. I can't stand the best friend stuff.
Yeah.
I can't stand. I mean, they do that, and then Orange Cassidy comes out, and I'm like, you just like dumped on everything you just did. You know, Danielson comes out and blows my mind. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the best thing I've seen in 20 years. You know, and then Orange Cassidy comes out and does a hug, killing Adam Cole. Like what they did with Adam Cole is killing me. What they're doing with Jay Lethal is killing me. You know what I mean? Like them two should be tearing up. I don't know. It's, you know, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Fish should be tearing it up. I mean, they have it. Put Fish, O'Reilly, all the people I just named, Cole, put them all over on ROH and just let them tear it up. You know what I mean? Get them away from the best friends and Orange Cassidy. But then, you know, what would happen to AEW would go, I think. It'd be if they make it all silly like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate the silly stuff. I'm not into it.
No, I hear you. I'll wait for the day they bring Roderick Strong in.
Right. Yeah. I think he just resigned though, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
I think he could have come over with O'Reilly and stuff, and he decided to resign, I think.
Yeah. Which is too bad.
Yeah. But I mean, they got so much now he don't know what to do with. There's just so much stuff there. They do so much good, but they do so much bad too. Like I said, I'm so in the middle. I'm so 50-50 on AEW. It's so good, but it's got so much bad. Like they do so much counter reaction to their good all the time.
Right. No, I hear you. And I just love the fact that they're an alternative to WWE.
Oh yeah.
Stinks.
And compared to what's out there, they're so much more exciting and so much good. But I mean, if you pulled like Punk and Daniels, like I said, if you took all them out and put them in ROH, I don't think there'd be much left to AEW that I personally would like.
Right. I mean, you'd have to bring in some more big name guys, and you know, you're almost out of them unless you can get some more ex-WWE guys.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, perhaps if Punk and Danielson and those guys moved over to ROH, maybe that would leave more room for people like the recently arrived Keith Lee and grab a couple of more guys. I mean, let's face it, Jericho, as great as he is, I don't know how much gas he's got left in the tank.
Yeah. I've had about enough of Jericho. No, I mean, I like Jericho. He's done what he's done, but I've had about enough of Jericho.
Yeah, I hear you. And, you know, Billy Gunn, I think, has done the smart thing where he's stepped back and he's managing his son.
Billy Gunn's,
pushing his kids, which I think is fantastic. But I mean, how many more ex-WWE guys can you just lie in wait for?
Well, you know, Jericho's just sucking off everybody around him at this point. Every time he sees something hot, he's hopping on it, grabbing from them. And it's quite apparent. You know what I mean?
He's doing what Flair did in the early 2000s.
Yeah, but even more so, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and I kind of stopped watching this, so maybe I didn't see how far Flair went with it. I only seen the beginning of that probably because I stopped watching, like I said, like 2002, I think. When all that what stuff started, I stopped watching. By then I was like, all right, I had enough of this. I seen the beginnings of that, but When that kind of got old, I was like, all right. I remember
Well,
my
once,
buddy that stopped watching wrestling, everybody going to wrestling indie shows with him. He didn't watch WWF, but he used to go to indie shows. Then the indie crowd started doing the what thing, and they're like, he said, how come they don't hear him? And he was getting like aggravated with the crowd. I'm like, no, it's Austin. He's like, I don't get it. Like he was getting aggravated. He didn't understand it. It was just made me laugh so hard.
I think once Vince bought out Turner and Heyman,
Yeah.
it was the beginning of the end. But thankfully, with AEW, there's a resurgence. There's another choice. But
yeah,
at that time, once he bought WCW, it was kind of like, yeah, it's hard to be number one when there's no one chasing you.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah, that's always my argument when people talk about like great tag teams, like when people are like, oh, the Young Bucks are like the great. It's like, well, who else was there? Well, oh, they did this, they did that. Well, of course, yeah, they're the only team that stayed together and was like an actual tag team for the amount of time they have been.
Right.
I mean, there's the Briscoes and there's them, but I mean, there hasn't been tag teams for the last 15 years, so it's easy to be a great tag team. It's not like it was in the 80s.
Yeah, you know.
You know what I mean?
The first old school tag team I bring up and people roll their eyes, but I'll bring them up till the day I die is Tully and Arn.
Yeah. You know who I always bring up?
Who's that?
Patterson and either one of his partners. I mean, not Patterson. Patterson and
Ray Stevens.
Ray Stevens and either one of his partners. Ray Stevens and Patterson, or Ray Stevens and Nick Bockwinkel. Either one of them tag teams.
And Bockwinkel, even as a solo, he is so criminally underappreciated.
I agree.
One of the greatest workers of all time.
Yep. And when you say worker, I'd say all around as far as the way he carried himself, the way he did his promos. He had such a unique promo where he spoke. It's hard to explain, but I think you know what I'm saying. He spoke in that eloquent way where he made you think he was a champion. He was above you. He spoke down to you. He used them big words where I don't know. I think he made a great champion.
Agreed.
In my opinion.
One of the greatest world champions of all time.
It's too bad that the AWA wasn't bigger at the time. You know what I mean? Where like if he was in Flair's spot or something, I think that's why he don't get the credit, because AWA was on such a downfall by that time. I mean, it was still kind of big, but not big enough where he got the credit he should have.
Well, it's because Vern was trying to stay traditional. You know, while everybody else around him was moving with the times, Vern was trying to be an alternative to WWE and WCW by staying traditional. And by that point, I think fans just didn't care, sadly.
And was it Bockwinkel that didn't want to travel?
Yeah.
He wanted to stay AWA territory, and they only worked so many months a year, didn't they?
Yeah, because they only went out as far west as Nevada and as far east, I think, as Ohio. You know, they had a very small territory in comparison to McMahon or the Crockett's,
who were shut down for the winters or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like an easy schedule. You didn't travel. You only worked half the year, and that's all he would do. I think that's another reason he never got the credit. You know, and
absolutely
got as big as he could.
And it's too bad because I think he and Fritz were probably two of the greatest promoters of all time. Probably the greatest two of all time. You know,
and I think the same. I think the same thing with Fritz.
Absolutely. You and I are pro Fritz. We're pro world class, man. That was the best.
You don't got to tell me anything about world class. I think you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was the best. That was the best wrestling I ever saw. No doubt.
Nothing comes close to it. I would say the closest thing that comes to it is this.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of that is because Fritz and Watts would trade talent a lot.
Right.
And
bookers and everything else.
Not Ken Mantell booked for both. So
yeah.
And Gary Hart. So
Gary Hart too, right?
Yeah, Gary Hart.
Gary Hart booked for Mid-South, right?
He sure did.
Yeah.
And he was one of the greatest minds in all of wrestling.
Oh, definitely.
He does not get the credit he deserves.
No, young people today don't even know who he is other than, he's that guy that stood next to Muda. He wasn't that great of a manager. He barely said anything.
Yeah, he also booked the greatest feud of all time, the Von Erichs and the Freebirds.
Right.
Yeah,
Among
we
other
say more.
things.
Yeah.
He also booked Devastation, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Which that to me, that's very it doesn't get the credit it should. Devastation.
Absolutely.
Think of how that kept that alive and kept that going and kept opponents for Von Erich. He could bring anybody in. Hey, shave your head, you're a Mongol. Hey, shave your head, you're this. Hey, you're this, you're that. Come on in. We get you goofy. He kept that going in opponents for the Von Erichs, which is something that they really needed.
And Skander Akbar doesn't get the credit he deserves for being the great manager he was. He was fantastic. Right. He was one of the, along with Gary, they were two of the greatest heel managers of all time.
Right. And he almost stepped in and took Gary's, I don't want to say took Gary's place, but filled that void when Gary left and when Gary stepped out from in front of the camera. Akbar.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, because it was H&H, it was, Gary Hart, and then it was what, H&H Unlimited or whatever it was there.
Yep.
Aman Hussein and Gary Hart, and then pretty much Devastation Incorporated come in with, what was it, Big Daddy Bundy or whatever it was?
Yeah, Big Daddy Bundy.
Or whatever. He come in Big Daddy Bundy with the hair and everything.
Yep.
That was what, 81, 82? That was early days.
Yeah, and just the parade of talent they had at that time. But, we had Bundy, you had Kamala, you had Kabuki, you had the Irwin brothers under the hoods as the Super Ds, Yatsu and Checkmate. I mean, on and on. Some great talent came through that territory.
Checkmate Tony Charles. Talk about a worker.
Absolutely.
That guy was a worker. I mean, he never really did a lot, like wasn't high praised, but man, he could work. You ever watch his matches like with Dundee or with one time I was watching matches with him with Billy Robinson. Oh my God. Ooh. Them two rolling on the mat. Oh my God.
Yep. Also his matches with Paul Jones in Florida. I mean, that was with Eddie Graham. That's good stuff there too.
How many people even know who Checkmate Tony Charles is nowadays?
Younger than us, not too many.
But yeah, he was in didn't he wear a mask there?
Yes, he did.
And that's odd. He come in as Checkmate. He didn't even use the Tony Charles name, right?
Yeah, it was just Checkmate.
Yeah, he wasn't there that long, I don't think.
No, because I think he split time between Dallas and Tampa because he was working for Eddie Graham too.
They even brought in later Muda, not Muda, Super Black Ninja.
Yep.
When he was young when he came in as Super Black Ninja.
Absolutely.
Why can't I think of his name?
I can't either. But he was great.
The son of Kabuki. Brought him in as the son of Kabuki. Great Muda.
Yo, Keiji Muto.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keiji Muto.
Wow, I was drawing a blank there for a second. I kept.
It happens. It happens. Yeah, I can't remember what I had for lunch last week on last Wednesday, but I can recite the entire card of WrestleMania 1. Go figure. In order.
Sometimes things just come to me and I can think of anything, and then other times it'll just be like, all right, I'm blank. It's not there.
Right.
There's just that hole, you know what I mean? That gap. It's like boom, boom, boom. Oh, gap.
Talking about WrestleMania for a second. I won't be watching it this weekend because I have no interest. But I'll tell you what, I got to watch the Hall of Fame because Undertaker. This is so well deserved and a little bit overdue. So I'm happy, very happy to see Mark going in.
Yeah.
And the other people in the class too. You got Sid, you got Vader, you got the Steiners. I mean, this is a great class. I'm looking forward to this one.
A good class. That sounds better than they usually. I haven't watched any of them. I've never had the network. I had it. Remember when it used to be classics, WWE classics, and then it was 24/7 when it used to be on demand. I had it then. And when they changed it over to streaming, I never got it.
I had it, then I got rid of it, and then when I found out I could get it on not because I got absorbed into Peacock, and it's only $5 a month. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll grab that.
Yeah.
Because Peacock, I can also watch movies.
Yeah. So I had it when it was on demand.
I remember that.
And that's back when I used to tape trade, so I could record it and everything and tape trade and all that. But once you couldn't record it no more or anything, I was like, and that was mostly for the old house shows and all that stuff,
Right.
Now I don't even know what they had on. I know when they first went over to streaming, they didn't have none of the old school stuff. I know they eventually updated it, but when it
Yeah, they
first
do
went
now.
over, they were like, "What's that?"
They do now. Now they have like the old house shows from MSG, from Boston, from the Philadelphia Spectrum, and then they've got like all the super cards, not only from WWF but from NWA, WCW, ECW. They have the Mid South Wrestling. They've got stuff from Florida. I mean, they've expanded. They really have.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I have so much stuff to watch anyway. It's
Right.
like probably 70 to 80% of stuff that's on there I have.
Yeah.
Now, granted, half of that I'll probably pull out and throw it in. It's all wow, 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 and grainy and crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And half of it's good, but I'd probably never pull out half of it. You know what I mean? I'll never get around
Right.
to watching most of it. So it's
Yeah.
like I can't see spending money on. I don't even watch the stuff I have.
Yeah.
There's other stuff I like. The services is Jared Parson Productions. You ever hear of them?
No.
They have a streaming service that I've been thinking about getting. They have like everything else that Vince doesn't have.
Oh wow.
Old
Nice.
Poffo ICW, old Blackwell, that league that Blackwell ran in the late 80s there. I
Oh
forget what
yeah.
it was called. All old Memphis, old I can't even think about all stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
Nice.
they have a half-hour show on Nessun every week that I watch. It's only a half an hour. It's the only show I look forward to every week, more than AEW, more than anything. The only disappointment in it is it's a half hour long. I mean,
Yeah.
they show stuff that I've never seen before. Like I'm like every week, I'm like, oh my god, what is this? And what is it's amazing the stuff they're showing on there. And every week he's like, oh, subscribe to our thing. It's basically an infomercial to subscribe to the thing, you know what I mean? But it's all matches.
Nice.
It's incredible the stuff they show on there, but it's online and on YouTube and stuff. Look it up, Jared Parson Productions.
I'll
Like
have to,
Iceman
'cause,
King Parsons and Jerry Jared. It's not them, but
right. Yeah, I'll have to watch that because I miss. That's one thing about living in Central Florida. No more Nesson. I can only watch the Sox when they come down here to play the Florida teams.
oh, it might even be on Nesson's like streaming thing. I don't know.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, oh, it's definitely worth watching though. I can't believe the stuff that they put on there. Like
Nice.
every week the stuff that comes on, like old Ox Baker, old like just what's that IWA? Remember that weird IWA that used to be on in the 70s, the mid 70s?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of that on there.
Nice.
Just like pretty much all the stuff that Vince don't have that you never see, he's like
Right.
putting up. NAWA, like the stuff where New Jack started, the South Georgia
Oh yeah.
Independent Fed, they were showing some of that stuff. I'm like, wow, just like really obscure stuff on there.
Nice. That's one of the things I remember in Middleborough when we first got cable. We used to have all these weird cable channels that had all this wrestling from everywhere. Like there was a channel called Tempo TV that later became the Learning Channel, and they would have Deep South Wrestling. They would have Polynesian Pacific Pro Wrestling. They would have California Championship Wrestling with Victor Rivera. They showed Stampede out of Canada. I miss
Really?
those. Yeah.
What year was this?
It was Channel 47 on Continental Cablevision.
What year though?
Go back to 1986.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, because I was down in the village, down in Rock Village, and we first got cable in '86. And I remember watching that. And of course, Vern's show was on ESPN weekday afternoons, and Fritz's show was on ESPN after it left. After Channel 25 became a Fox affiliate, then Fritz's stuff was on ESPN, and then the Savoldi stuff was on WPRI Channel 12 on Saturday afternoons at 1.
Wow. I wonder if I had cable then. I'm not sure what year I got cable.
Then they ended up going to Savoldi, and I'm going to Sports Channel.
Yep. They were on both for a while. They were on Channel 27 and on Sports Channel.
Right, the Worcester station, Channel 27, right.
Yeah, in like 89, 90, 91. I remember that. Because that's when I recorded them.
Sports Channel also showed Crazy Herb Abrams' UWF.
Yep.
on Saturday morning.
They had all kinds of stuff on. That's why I recorded. I don't know if you've seen on my channel that NWF they had on for like a couple
Yes.
months. They had that IWA for a couple months.
Yep.
They had ICCW, IWCCW, whatever it was.
And Kevin merged, yeah.
Well, they had that UWF. They had AWA on there.
Yes, that's right.
They had LPWA.
Oh,
That's
I
where
missed that.
That's where the stuff I've been posting. That's where I recorded off of.
Yes.
They had a lot of wrestling on there.
They sure did. And that
I believe USWA come on there too, I want to say.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That's right. And that LPWA stuff's been a treat because I remember seeing some of that stuff with Brittany Brown, because as you know, her and I are very close outside the ring. So she would show me all that stuff. And she supplied me with some of it when I had the old show in Middleborough, the matches with her and Shelley Francis, of course, Rosebud there in Massachusetts. That infamous mixed tag team match in Middleborough. Her and Snooki Fink against me and Brittany.
Her and who?
Snooki Fink. Rosebud and Snooki Fink against me and Brittany Brown in the Middleborough High School gym, 1993.
Oh yeah.
Infamous mixed tag. I got the DVD here at the house. That was the main event that night was the Mountie and Superfly Jimmy Snuka with Walter Kwalski as the referee.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm supposed to do an interview with her tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. Here's a name out of the past. You'll never guess who I finally tracked down after 9 years of looking for him. Remember a WWE enhancement guy from the 70s and 80s, Ron Shaw?
Yes.
I finally tracked him down because he started with Kowalski. He did the Bedlam from Boston show and was trained by Walter. And I'm sure you well know we have the IWF reunion and Hall of Fame induction ceremony every year. And I finally tracked down Ron because we've been trying to get him to the reunion for years. And you'll never guess where he lives. Cape Coral, Florida. He's like an hour from me.
Oh, no kidding.
Because I saw him on YouTube. There's this British kid who does the Magnificent podcast with Don Morocco, but then he's also doing these other interview segments. He's interviewed Ron Shaw, recently Diamond Dallas Page. He's interviewed Jim Brunzell and a few other guys, Dutch Mantell. And when I saw Ron plugged his website, and I was like, I've been looking for this guy. So I emailed, he put his email address, I emailed him, gave him my number. I'm on my break at Disney one morning, and lo and behold, he calls me out of the blue. And we had a nice conversation, and I'm proud to say that he's coming to the reunion in Massachusetts this year. We finally got him. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know he came out of Kowalski's.
Yeah, he came out of Kowalski's, and he was on the Bedlam from Boston show on Channel 25 that they used to do out of that hotel ballroom in Needham, Massachusetts. He used to come on on Channel 25. He used to come on right before World Class. And it was him, John Callahan, Tony Ulysses, the O'Reilly brothers, and of course David Schultz and Bruiser Brody came in for some shows, and then Walter was doing an IWF show in Pittsburgh for Bruno, and they were exchanging talent out of Pittsburgh and Boston. This is like the late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, Ron was the Honky Tonk Man's first opponent in WWE when Honky was still a babyface. Oh, Vince was trying to pass him off as a babyface. And he worked with the Birds too. In the Philadelphia Spectrum, it was Ron Shaw, Duke of Dorchester, Pete Doherty, and Rusty Brooks against the Freebirds.
I remember that. That was one of their few matches.
Absolutely, before they got fired by Andre.
Yeah, that didn't last very long.
It's a shame because when they were doing the Rock and Wrestling Connection, the Birds were supposed to be the rock and roll guys to get that off the ground.
Yeah,
they were even managed by Cyndi Lauper's boyfriend, David Wolf. But we all know what happened.
Yeah, he was trying hard there for a while because if you remember when David died,
yes,
I remember at the opening of the show they put up a tribute to David, and that was unheard of in February of '84 to do that. WWF to do that outside talent. I remember I being shocked. I don't know how old I was then, 11. I remember being shocked at that age, even knowing like they don't do that. They're mentioning David Von Erich on WWF. Like I remember being shocked. He was trying so hard to get the Von Erich boys and the Freebirds at that time.
Yep. He got the birds, but he didn't get the. I mean, he had the Von Erichs. Well, Senior had the Von Erichs in MSG.
Yeah,
and
he had Kevin, right?
81. Yeah,
yeah. I've seen that picture of Kevin with the WWF turnbuckle behind him.
I saw the match. It was the show is on the network. And I saw Kerry and Kevin both worked that night. I want to say I think Kevin worked with Johnny Rods, and then I think Kerry worked with Jose Estrada, and they were like the opening 2 matches.
That must be something they let out in the last few years, because I remember like 5 or 7 years ago or so, all they had was the picture of Kevin like standing in the ring like he used to, up with one leg up on the ropes. You know what I mean? They just had the picture of him in a WWF ring as proof.
Yeah, it was very recently they put that out.
Yeah. Wow.
And it turns out there is a path you can take around 2 moving black holes that haven't quite collided yet, where you can end up in the past of when you started that journey. It's backwards time travel, according to calculations from Einstein's general relativity, is enabled by the severely distorted fabric of space and time, such as what you would get with black holes that came in their own proximity.